come back and shoot the other ones because it's getting warm. You feel it?
Yeah, a little
it's
bit.
Getting a little
Not
warm.
terrible.
Okay, cool. All right, let's do this. You can still be on because it's fine. Hey, everybody. Oh, what? Wait. Oh, we're doing another show.
I'm going to leave that in. That's great.
Welcome to Do It Like Danny. I'm going to tell a million stories, and maybe one will hit home, and you'll be like, wow, that happened to me. And it's not about me. What is? You know, television is a very, very crazy beast. I learned so much at Tyra. This is real emotion. This is something that I experienced.
I want the world to see what I have always seen, and that is the love that you have for just being yourself.
I love this person who knows who he is, who can make people laugh.
I think the script I gave you was a little bit different, but I'll take that.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm drinking at work because it's my show. I drink on my show.
I love when you stop every time. You're like, wait, what was I doing? Like, it makes for good stuff, bro.
Oh, hey, everybody. Welcome back to Do It Like Danny. Man, if that theme song isn't ingrained in your head by now,
Hi.
what you need to know is to always remember to like, follow, subscribe, tell your friends, like Alpha Beta. Oh, God, that's an old mark. I just really dated myself.
Also, please comment because that does help us with the algorithm and it gets engagement. It's really cool. We love to respond and like and do all that stuff.
And whether you like it or not, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
We
Hate
love
on us.
Listen.
We don't care.
Any publicity is better than no publicity, and we love it. So thank you so much for tuning in. Today's Thursday, and so what I wanted to kind of start the show with is, we've been doing these episodes for so long, and we've been going back and forth, and people don't even know who the fuck I am. And so the reason why I'm going to kind of start off this way is because, I do my little ride share. It's fun in my free time, when there's a lot of it. Louie, my cousin, because people are like, who the fuck is that guy, right? Louie's my cousin. Angelo's my cousin. But Louie approached me a few years ago to potentially start this show. And the reason why is because I worked in television for so many years. I'm a 3-time Emmy Award winner. Honk, honk. And I worked hard for those statues. And there were a lot of great stories that came from it. And that was the reason why we started Do It Like Danny. What it started off was kind of like getting to know me. If you're just listening to season 1, which is on Spotify and iTunes, season 2 came to YouTube. And the reason why season 2 has been 1,000 episodes is because cousin Louie decided to jump off of a cliff in Hawaii and broke his leg. Now, if you go back and listen to stories, you'll hear the real story of what happened. And we kind of just continued. We were down for a few months because he was in rehab, like Amy Winehouse. And,
But I wanted to go, though. She didn't. I needed to go, dude. I would have lost my leg if I didn't.
So to give a little bit about myself, I'm just a crazy person. I don't have a filter. I say what I feel, and I feel a lot.
That's an understatement.
Woo! But I do love all of my friends, and I definitely do love all of the people that listen to this show. So again, a super major 1 million grazie mille to all the people that listen, that like, that follow, that subscribe. Thank you for your support. We are making no money from this, which I think is crazy. It's just been like a luxury of love, if you will.
Yeah.
Maybe pretty soon we'll start to make some money, season 3. And we can bring you better sound stages, Phantom of the Opera recreation.
I want better lighting, craft service, hair, and makeup.
We don't have that kind of money.
But my lists are simple.
Stay
my list of
tuned.
demands.
Stay tuned for a bake sale in Montecito for Cousin Angelo's makeup.
You know what I want to
Lighting,
see?
hair.
People wearing hats and shirts and just like, I have a cup. And sending us pictures so that we can put it in the show.
Oh,
I
yeah,
would
we
love
should do
that.
You should be wearing our Do It Like Danny hat.
We need to start designing that. We need designers. If you're a designer, reach out to us, please.
Yeah, send us some
because
designs. Why not?
We need some ideas on what. I know I have my logo. It's very Lisa Frank. I get it, but I loved it. It was at that time when we first started the show. I loved that logo, and I still do love it. But I think it's time to It needs a little butching up. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like the talk, right? Every season they come back with a revamped stage and whatever. Yep.
And so we need to revamp the stage. We need to build rafters and stadium-style seating here. Angelo's like,
we need an audience.
I think we could get an audience.
Well, you did mention that to me when my leg was up.
Yeah, that would be great.
I won't even touch that.
Season 3, I know of a few people. Miss Zoe from the pool, she's like, I'd go and sit in on it. Yeah.
That'd be
so
cool.
even if we had like 5 people, that's still
I have seating for 10.
an audience.
Yeah, we could have 10 people here, and I would love
And then I
to
could
interview
cook
that.
and I could feed them. That's like their giveaway. They get to eat.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good way. Until we get actual brands. They're like, we want to do a giveaway on your show. I'm me.
Cheesecake gonna bring you a whole thing of ranch.
Oh my God! And we're so sorry that this one recipe was wrong.
Well,
They will admit the fault.
It's gonna say the ranch is good.
Yeah.
If they don't, Hidden Valley is just up the road from Montecito.
No, you missed it. He
Listen.
wants Ken's.
Listen. Oh, I do.
He wants Ken.
Listen, when
he wants Ken.
Yeah, when Cheesecake Factory's not available, Ken's dressing. I mean, there should be like Louie, get like a little bing, Ken's right there. Maybe they'll send me their honey mustard, my favorite.
My favorite, yep.
Light Caesar cream. I'm sorry, the light creamy Caesar salad dressing is my favorite.
Creamy Caesar?
Creamy, like your Hidden Valley, creamy. Well, it's not anymore, but you should take hormones like Suzanne Summers.
God rest her soul.
I know she passed.
Well, you know, I totally forgot. I forgot to say get well to Brian and Yuri. Oh my God, they were super sick. They got the plug. They got the
From Jurgen.
They got the Jurgen. They got COVID.
That's what it
They
should be
got
called.
the Jurgen. Maybe I gave it to them because I was.
Oh, yeah, he got him
I got a haircut. Maybe I was like,
Through your hair. Oh, God.
as I laugh and those droplets of come out of my mouth.
Spraying the entire
I gave him the
Chinatown.
Jurgen. That's the newest variant that is traipsing through the valley is the Jurgen COVID.
He gets around.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He really does. I mean, more than a carousel.
Oh yeah.
I just want to play the horse music, and he comes in.
Let's get back to the show, bro.
Poor Jurgen.
So demanding. It's like working for
Oh
Ellen.
my gosh, she never says anything, and all of a sudden she says, gets one good joke last show, and now that's the stepping off point.
No laughing.
Do you know who I am? This is my show. My show.
And you drink on your show because it's your show.
Oh my God. So, Brian and Yuri, you're probably already better at this point, but I hope you feel even more better. More better. That's like the fucking thing. Jesus. I need more Bloody Mary.
Yeah. One and done for
He's
this
our
man.
stylist, right? Your personal stylist.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Brian Yuri, I hope you feel your best assist ever because Do It Like Danny is doing it like you, and I'm healthy. No, I'm kidding.
Although, hopefully they didn't see the Padres edition where you talk about your haircut.
They probably did. They will. They
He's
will. And
probably
still, look at
when he sees him, he's gonna shave his
because
head.
you got COVID, Brian. Look at. I'm basically an anime character.
Oh man.
Nihonjin desu ka? Konnichiwa. Okay.
That's like subscribing.
Yeah. Nihonde o kudasai. Which is actual Japanese. Okay. So, okay, shout outs. So we just like shout out week. So let's see. We did yes. Oh, this is a good shout out.
Uh-oh.
We'll be clued
So, I was doing my little ride share, and this was actually last night. So I picked up these girls in Silver Lake, and the name was Karen. And 3 girls got into the car. Well, actually, I'm sorry. No. 2 girls got into the car, and they were waiting for the 3rd one. So, like, whenever that happens, I'm like, oh, my God, you're kidnapping me? Like, I make jokes, right?
Yeah.
Because people don't want the driver waiting, right? So they're like, well, we'll send the representative over. So they had 2 representatives that came over to,
Hold the car.
sit in the car and
Yeah.
hold the car. And I always say, oh, you're kidnapping me, right? So they didn't at first. They were kind of like quiet about it, and I was like, okay, whatever. So one girl sat in front, and then one girl sat in the back, and then we're waiting for the third. But it was really busy in Los Feliz, where we were, Los Feliz.
Yeah.
And at Los Feliz Boulevard, it's like really busy. There's no place to pull over and park. So like buses are coming behind me, and I'm like, we're gonna get killed. I said, well, how about I go around the block? And they go, well, she's coming. So the third girl gets in, and so we go on our way, right? And so we began talking, and we're just chatting, and I was taking them to the Hollywood Bowl. They were gonna go see. Oh God, I forgot who you're gonna go see. I want to say Apollo Ono, but it's not Apollo Ono. Like someone, Apollo Omar.
No clue.
I felt old.
Yeah.
But what I did connect with them on is Chapel Roan.
Oh, no.
I love Chapel Roan. And so we started like, oh my God, Chapel Roan. And she's like, what song do you like? I'm like, I like all of them. Excuse me. Like, is there, I didn't know this was multiple choice. Excuse me. Like, so we started talking. Well, one of the girls in the front seat, she mentions, because I said, oh, where y'all from? Because it sounded like they were not from the area. And she's, I'm from Riverside. And I went, oh. But I guess the way that I said it, she knew it was coming. So then I just used that as my step-off point. I just kept making all these jokes about Riverside. And I was like, well, you should just move to Temecula. Menifee proper, right? And so she's like, oh, my God, you're terrible. She's like, oh, my God. She's like, you are giving me so much shade. And I was like, well, you don't have shade in Riverside.
That's a good one.
So it kept going and going. And it was just, we were just laughing so hard. She's like, oh, you got jokes. And so then I found the opportunity. I said, listen, you have to listen to my show. It's crazy. It's called Do It Like Danny.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why I'm telling you the name of my show now, but I go, you're going to get a shout out because they were so much fun.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I enjoy. I enjoy when people are fun and friendly and they laugh at my jokes.
They make you feel happy.
I feel pretty. So Karen, and I don't know the names of your friends. It was just like girl passenger backseat 1 and girl passenger backseat 2. But Karen, thank you so much. You guys were great. You guys were wonderful. I hope that you enjoyed your concert at the Hollywood Bowl. Oh, and then I said, who are you gonna go see? And I said, with my luck, I'll get a ticket. I'll be sitting in the back row, and then all of a sudden someone will come up to me like, are you a fan? I'm like, yeah, I'm a fan. Great. And then they move me to the front, and I'm like, who are you here with? I'm all, the Riverside Girls. So it was funny. I dropped them off. We had a good time. And I wanted to give them a shout out because, as I said before, everyone who gives us love deserves love back. Yeah. It's not a one-way street. Yeah. It's a two-way street.
Two-way street, yeah.
Or like Jurgen, it's a roundabout.
It's a 4-way.
Oh, my God. Back to, besides what's happening in my world, what's happening in your gentleman's world?
You go first, Angelo.
Okay, God, Louie. Jesus Christ. Oh, my gosh. After all these years.
Well, I replaced my car. We didn't get to air the wreck.
Replace your car?
I got a new car.
Oh, that's right. But you were also under like legal obligation. You couldn't disclose certain things about your. Yeah. Well, then don't talk about it.
There's a lot of new things that will be revealed. Yeah.
Just off the top of your head, could you think of anything new?
I didn't say it this time. I was being good.
You have a lot on your mind lately.
I was being good, all right? I was being really good.
Unsubscribe. Do not like. What is new in my life? I wish I had more to report on. Honestly, I'm dealing with my dog. And anybody who's dealing with dogs, Louie, you certainly have had.
Yeah, so I've had the run-ins.
That's a great story, Angelo. So listen, okay, no.
Yeah, that's consuming me at the moment. Honestly.
Yeah, and I'm actually considering a pet also too. I would like. I know Louie's looking. I say Louie's looking. You can obviously see his look.
You want a pet?
I do.
What
you
kind
know what
of
I do? I will say this about my previous client. I do miss the little dog. I think that was probably the highlight of my day.
Angelo has an extra one if you want to just pick up that one.
But there's nothing wrong with the dog. That's why he doesn't care. Until, it's got like,
Until it's on
preeclampsia, then he's like, oh my God, we need to take care of the dog. Yeah. Poor Bubba. Nobody cares about Bubba. She's like, she's beautiful. Bubba, come here.
She's sunbathing. She loves it.
Yeah, she loves to sunbathe.
She does. Meanwhile, she's like, it's killing the cancer. Like, poor Bubba. And she's like, nobody cares about me if I pretend to cook myself. Maybe they'll do something to me.
I mean, no. I technically could give you the dog that I found, but I would be sad because he's such an amazing little guy. Well, he's a really fun guy.
How's that going?
It's great. So I don't know if I shared this, but I found a dog on the 4th of July before all the fireworks started.
Well, the dog came to you.
Well, he was waiting outside. Yeah, he was waiting outside, but you know, I let him in. I figured I'll hold on to him for a month. I'll probably find his owners because I've had a couple dogs come to my house. I find their owners and I give them back, but nobody claimed him. He was a cute little Chihuahua mixed with, I think, like a pointer or something. And he's just got a great personality. He's fun. He does have, he's intact, so he does like to mark. I think that's my only issue with him. But he's just a really little cute cuddle monster who I just fell in love with. So after about a month, I just said, all right, I don't have the money, but I'm going to figure out how to keep you somehow, some way. So he's doing really good, and he's healthy. I did take him to the vet because he's going to have to get his surgery. He only has one ball. Only one dropped. So his other little ball's in his little side.
Can you give him some pepper?
Well, I was thinking about punching it down, but it won't move.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so his surgery is going to cost a little bit more because they got to do 2 incisions now. So that was kind of interesting.
What's wrong with you people spending all this money on these? That's what I don't want. I'm not going to lie. Like, if there's something that's wrong and they're like, it's going to be $1,000, I'm going to be like, I loved you a lot, Scruffy. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe that's horrible of me, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, if you're spending over $1,000, I mean, that's a trip to Italy.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I don't know.
It's a hard call.
It's
a hard call. It really is.
It's a hard call
when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, officially, do we have a name for the Chihuahua?
Oh, Podrick. That's what I call him.
Okay, all right. Is that in honor of last week's show?
No, that's that's a Game of Thrones reference,
okay.
but I spelled it differently, like a dog with a paw.
Spelled with a K?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why he reminded me of that character a lot. I don't know. I've been naming my dogs after, like, TV characters. The other dog that I got before this dog, I named him Gus after that show Love that's on Netflix.
What show? Why did I?
It was a Judd Apatow show.
I mean, he's done so many of them.
Not on Netflix, just that one, I think.
Oh, really?
I'm almost positive.
And is it episodic or is it one movie?
No, it's episodic. It's 3 seasons.
Oh, it's called Love.
It's called Love.
And it's about
a dude and a girl who hook up in LA and like what it's kind of like to like date out here. And he's a substitute teacher for like all these underaged actors. You know how you have to have like a teacher on set?
Yeah.
And so like he's dealing with that.
Yeah.
And she's kind of like a crazy girl who lives out here in LA. You just got to watch it because she's kind of like a slut. It's good though. It's funny.
I've had my fair share of studio teachers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So at the talk, this was new to me, when you have underage, you have to have a studio teacher there. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do anything with them.
Yeah.
That is what the union requires.
Yeah.
Is a studio teacher to be there with them at all times if they're underage.
When I was on the Little Rascals, we had to.
Oh, wow, you really dated yourself on that one.
We had a teacher. Mrs. Snowden.
When you were in black and white?
It seems like just last year.
Did I tell you when you left, I think 2 weeks ago, I'm sitting there, and Angelo just randomly was like, oh, hey, I found this book, and it has me with Jason Bateman when he was on Teen Wolf 2.
Yeah.
It was...
That's right. Well, you know the Batemans.
I do. I actually, so interestingly enough, if we're going to share a little tidbit.
Yeah, we're going to share.
So I was a friend of mine. Her name is Andrea. I went to high school with her. Her father was James Hampton, let's just say his name. So he was an original on he was a bugler on the show called F Troop.
Oh, okay.
Truly black and
that's
white,
old school, yeah.
Back in the days. He was also in Cannonball Run with Burt Reynolds. He was a mainstay as a character actor throughout the 70s and the 80s.
And put a quick pin in that one for a second. So if you've never seen the Cannonball Run, it's an amazing movie. It's cheesy, it's campy, it's everything that life should be about in terms of Cannonball. Maybe you put a clip in there, Louie.
Yeah, I'll put a clip. I'll find something.
If you've never seen the Cannonball, all you millennials that watch this show, yes, we know who you are. The younger kids, the Chapel Roan crowd. If you've never seen the Cannonball and you're like, what is that? Listen, let me tell you, you have to watch it, find it, figure it out. Here's a clip.
Pull over! We want to give you our blessings. JJ, there are 2 priests in that car over there.
What?
They want us to pull over.
Victor?
Yeah.
2 priests driving a Ferrari.
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw 2 priests driving a Ferrari? What are they taking, the bingo money home?
Oh, no, they're doing the work of the Lord. In a Ferrari, they can just do it faster, that's all. Pull over! We want to bless you!
Victor?
Yeah?
One of the priests is black.
Oh, yeah, they have black priests.
You do?
Oh, sure, they have a black cardinal. Oh, they do want us to pull over. They want to bless us. Can we?
Let me get this straight. You want us to pull over and be blessed by a black priest in a red Ferrari?
Couldn't hurt.
Oy vey.
Well, hope you enjoyed that. So that's your homework. But back to Angelo. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No. So Andrea's father was on the Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox. So the sequel was Teen Wolf 2 with Jason Bateman.
Yeah.
Now this is at the beginning of Jason Bateman's career.
Oh yeah.
He's a few years within my age, so he was about 19 years of age at the time.
Oh my God.
So my friend Andrea said, "Do you want to go watch my dad shoot?" They were filming at Montclair University, or wherever, Claremont, and so we got to hang out with Jason Bateman and watch her father. We were actually extras in the movie.
Can
for
we
about
see
2
you?
weeks. Yes, you can.
Oh, wow.
Can we find that?
I have to find that clip.
Oh.
So, that was the first time I got to meet Jason Bateman. So I shared those photos with cousin Louie, and one of the photos is John Astin from the original Addams Family.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's in that. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
So that was kind of fun. Ironically, I danced there was a club in LA called the Odyssey. It was around the time Rage and Studio was coming about in West Hollywood. The Odyssey was LA's Studio 54. It was one of the hippest clubs, catty corner to the Beverly Center on Beverly Boulevard off La Cienega. Okay. You weren't even born. I don't think 84. When were you born? 95?
Oh my God! How dare you? I was born in 74.
What was that?
So it used to be a popular club, and I used to go as many times as I could. And so I danced a few times with Justine Bateman.
Oh,
Who's Justine?
that's Jason's sister.
sister.
Oh, wow.
Who was on a show called The Facts of Life.
Oh, okay.
No.
Oh, no.
She
No?
was
I'm
on
sorry.
Family Ties.
Family Ties.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting
all right.
I'm
Now,
sorry.
now,
Family Ties. She was on a show called Family Ties. Let's just kind of circle back to Teen Wolf 2. So Andrea invited me to the premiere, which was at the Pantages in Hollywood. We went to it. We were so loaded. I mean, I hate to admit that we were so loaded. Justine was there with her boyfriend again at this party, which was kind of crazy because I danced with her at the Odyssey all those years ago.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, that just shows me how, like, I'm 57 years old. I was probably 21, 22 when all that took place. And where those 30-something years have gone is really quite amazing. And, but again, I was reflecting on your life earlier, and I was just, I was walking my dogs, the blind one and Bubba. And I was thinking, my God, it has to be so interesting to you to really be at this stage where you've come full circle. You're not living that life necessarily anymore in the entertainment business. Now you're looking back and sharing, which is crazy because it's like, think about it. You're 50.
Yeah.
And,
He just made a bill.
And when you're in it, you kind of think that life is just going to carry you through,
stay,
right?
yeah.
You're always going to be in it somehow.
Yeah.
In some capacity.
Well, you always. I actually, to be honest though, I didn't think that I would always be in it.
What do you miss the most about it?
I don't miss anything.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. Is that sad? I don't want to say it's sad. I don't miss anything because it made me become somebody who I wasn't. And I think that's why it's no longer with me. And this has kind of become it, if you will, a more truthful version of myself.
Yeah.
I was always this crazy.
That's
but
true.
I became an egotistical, power-hungry, money-driven person that, excuse me, that I think at one point I just didn't care about anybody else. I just want to be perfect.
Interesting.
I wanted to be perfect, and I strive for perfection, and I wanted to be right. I always wanted to be right. I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. And I would purposely document to the day, oh my God, everything.
Where do you think that stems from, that you have to constantly feel like you have to be right, or like you have to always, what do you call that? Not protect yourself, but not argumentative. It's like you always have to fight your battle.
That's a great question. I feel that, to be honest, it stems from just being bullied as a child. Everything was always unfair. I was always picked last for dodgeball. I was always, picked last for physical sports. I wasn't physical. I'm okay with that. I was always picked first for spelling bees and for reading in church because I was so loud. So I had a balance-ish, if you will. I was never with what I would call gay cousin Art, that muscle popular jock group, right? They fight so hard to stay in that. They don't eat carbs.
So good.
And I was always different. I was different. I knew I was different.
Yeah.
I was a little gay kid. I was different. I didn't know, actually, while I knew I was different, I didn't know what I was. I didn't know what I was. Did I need a different pronoun? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I just knew that I enjoyed the company of men. Going to Catholic school my entire life, my parents wanted to make sure I had a great education. They knew I was smart. And so they wanted to cultivate that. I wanted to dance. I wanted to do creative things. No harm, no foul on anybody's page or whatsoever. Yeah. But going back to even in high school, I had to find things to do because I wasn't with the popular group. It wasn't until I was in my last year at public school where I became, best dancer in the senior class. And I don't know, what do you call those, the teacher aide or whatever, said, you should take dance class then if you like it. And I did. I was the only guy taking dance class. And then, of course, I opened myself up to the ridicule and the chastising. But I think because I was such a good dancer and a chubby kid, that people saw the talent. And then cheerleaders were my friends, and some of the football players. So I never really felt at that point after that my life was in danger. Listen, when you're different, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be popular.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of who I was and how I became and where I am, it kind of molded me into this person that was, I'm going to fight for the rights of everybody every single day. I want to make sure that if I see any injustice, I'm going to call it to your attention.
Was it kind of like proving something?
Of course it was proving something. I was proving it, but I don't know where it became proving it to myself versus proving it to other people. And what I lost sight of was I need to prove it to myself.
Yeah.
I don't need to prove it to other people.
Yeah.
And now I sit in this arena, if you will. I don't have to prove anything to anybody.
Yeah.
This is me.
Yeah.
I have now proven to myself that I can do anything that I want to do.
Yeah.
Anything. If I could shovel shit and they'd be like, oh my God, you're so amazing. Oh my God. And you're the best at it. Or I could probably become a doctor. I could do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's taken me a long time to learn. It's taken me a long time to say, and it's taken me a long time to realize.
When did you realize it? Because
Right
I'm
now.
kind of going through that. Because I'm kind of going through that like myself. and understanding how to realize it and going, oh, shit, I could have done this 10 years ago, but I just wasn't ready for it.
Okay, so here's where I will interrupt you on that. I could have. I don't believe that there's a could have. I believe that I can. And maybe that sounds cliche and it's cheesy, but I guess that's I'll rephrase it like this. I think that's the scary part, because now knowing I can do whatever I want to do, now there lies the pressure of, well, this is it. You know, in your lifetime, you go through 3 phases of changes in your career. I'm at my 3rd. I have to make the right choice. Yeah. Is this it? Like, follow, subscribe? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. This is working, right? Well, I mean, Angelo, but no, I'm just kidding. No, but this is, and all jokes aside, this is working. I'm having fun. Yes, I'm telling my stories. And when I tell my stories, they're not meant to fuck with people. They're not meant to
brag.
Yeah, and they're not meant to, like, I'm not a mean person. Yeah. Although, yes, in the past, people have said he's fucking mean. I probably was.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, you know, I always had that resting bitch face, and I was always in it. Like, I was always, like, thinking. I had to think 800 steps before things even happened. Yeah. I was beyond anticipation. I was beyond anticipating the needs of others. Yeah. But for so long, I was always anticipating the needs of others.
And not your own.
And I wasn't getting anything back. And now it's time to anticipate my needs.
Yep.
So it's taken me, what did you say I was, 27? It's taken me
27 years ago.
You know, it's taken me a long time. But I'm not upset about that, because there are people that are in their life right now and they're at the pinnacle of their career and they still suck as human beings. There are people that still take Ozempic and have lost all this weight, and guess what? You're still an asshole.
And they look terrible.
But I think you touched on it with the non-sighted person who shall remain nameless. If you're an idiot or an asshole, it doesn't matter, blind, not hearing, whatever. That's just who you are.
Yeah.
So you could be a producer at whatever, one of the top shows, and if you're an asshole, you're an asshole. If you're a kind person, you're a kind person. One of the things that's kind of interesting parallel that you mentioned is, like, I watched Ellen's Netflix special recently, and she's like, you know, she goes, oh, I guess I'm the only mean person in Hollywood. Give me a break. So when you look back and you think about maybe there were moments where you felt maybe you were harsh, you had to do what you had to do in order to make that work. And there is no kindness in Hollywood all the time. You have to be direct and forceful and to make it work.
And you slit the throats of many people.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the best way. You're beyond swimming with the sharks and running with the wolves.
Oh, yeah.
The minute, you know, somebody bumps into you, you are attacking. Yeah. To jump out to, like, your point about Ellen.
Did you watch?
I did not. Oh. And I don't want to.
Thank you.
I don't want to. I don't want to. Not that I had a terrible time there, but she really was awful. And there are people on my Facebook and probably people that watch the show, so too, that think differently, that absolutely loved her. Yeah. That was not my experience, right? That's okay.
Yep.
Listen, I was low end of the totem pole. I didn't have much interaction. But I also, to defend her, I was very new to the television business. And in my mind, what I always pictured as family, which was, you know, Grammy and Bama, when they would talk about their TV family, I equated that term with the way that my family treated me.
Yeah.
That's not a family.
No.
That's a vapid hole of incestual insanity, right? So, perfect example. So, one of the girls that eventually became the coordinator at Ellen, her name was Claudia, who I love her to death. She would get me tickets when I asked, so there's no negativity there at all whatsoever. And she was great at the job, right? And not that I wanted it. I went up to Tyra. I was a PA. I was nobody there.
Yeah.
But I did work in the audience department at Ellen, and in that special with Ellen. She says, I don't know if it was televised, but she goes, "Is Claudia here?"
Yes.
And Claudia goes, "I am," right? And she's, "Oh, that's Claudia. She's a great girl."
She mentions that she's been with her throughout her career.
And that's not true.
Oh. Or maybe I don't want to misspeak.
No, that was the point,
her.
though.
Yeah.
She said she's been with me since the beginning.
Yes.
And that's not true. And that's part of Ellen. But then again, to defend her, it's like, I really don't expect the principals to know everybody. But I will tell you this, Tom Cruise makes it a point to know everybody.
Yeah.
And he's gotten so much shit over the years, right? He is the only celebrity that I've ever met in my entire life that literally walks into the room. And if you're a page, if you're a shit picker upper, if you're touching trash, he walks up to you. "Hi, I'm Tom. Nice to meet you. What's your name?" "Oh, and people, he's like, "It's okay." He's like, "It's all good." And literally, he addresses the entire room.
That's actually pretty cool, though.
And that creates an air of like, "Oh my God, wow."
Yeah.
He has never, and I've interacted with Tom multiple times in my television career, and never once has he ever walked into a room and been
dismissive.
Never once.
That's cool.
He literally, "Hey everybody, how's the crew? Are you guys ready? Are we gonna do this?" Like, he addresses everybody.
Can we get real on this topic, though? So what I find really interesting about that, because I've heard that before about him, he has no relationship with his daughter, with Katie Holmes. So you have to wonder. So Alan would say, maybe if I didn't say be kind at the end of all my shows, and I would say, go be mean to people, and then people found out that I was really nice behind the scenes, maybe people would be surprised about that. So when you hear something like that about a Tom Cruise at that level, right? But then you know that, or at least it's reported that he has no relationship with his child. It's like, how does that square?
Well, I think personally, and I don't know if this is true, I think a lot of it has to do with Scientology.
I was just going to say that. Like, what is the reasons why?
When you're in it, then whatever is in the past, you don't...
It's your daughter.
Correct, though. But in their minds, they're not supposed to associate with things that have negatively impacted their life, right? Yeah. That's Scientology. Yeah. Going back to Ellen, I will defend her for a hot second, and I will say that when it came to Ellen, because it was behind the scenes, and I know so much about behind the scenes, I mean, we would work all night because they had a very archaic audience ticketing system. And in the beginning, we were mailing out tickets to people.
Oh, wow.
It was wild. Like, there were so many things that we were there all night until 2 or 3 in the morning. I was working at Cheesecake in the morning, and then I would go there. I didn't even get to the studio stage for probably 6 months.
Wow.
I could go there, but not be there when there was an actual audience or filming.
Right.
Because I was busy in the office inputting data and mailing and or I'd check in people, and then I would go right back to the offices. So I would never go in. It wasn't until later. So what I will say to Defender is, just like we're building this show, right? Do it like Danny. That's the brand, right? That's what we do in TV. You got to find that fun slogan, that fun saying that, like, no matter what you're doing, people are always going to refer to that, right? Let's capitalize on that. Do it like Danny for Cutwater. Do it like Danny. So Ellen, and maybe this story is known, she hated dancing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
She hated dancing.
Yeah.
She didn't want to dance. It was actually an accident. One day, we were just like, as in all TV shows, hers was taped, it wasn't live. So during a break, she kind of started to bebop a little bit because she liked the song. So she did this cheesy, like, dance. Well, the crowd went fucking nuts. So guess what? They put it online. It gets a shitload of hits.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now she's forced
And now
to dance.
she's dancing in the show.
Yep.
So if you ever remember in the beginning, Ellen used to always come out and do something different. That was the goal. Every day she'll come out and do something different. She's going to come out, and I'll never forget this. And this is where I kind of lost my respect for her. But then again, I'll never know if it's truly her or if it was executives. So Queer Eye was very popular, right? So because Ellen would come out every day and do something, whether she was painting or on the phone or she was in a bubble bath or something where we'd catch her in action, right?
God, I know how that feels.
And then she would say, and then she would start the show. On this particular day, Queer Eye was supposed to come, all the guys, right? And it was the old crew. And I say old, or it was the original Queer Eye.
Crew, yeah.
And they wanted her to
dance with them?
not dance, what do you call it? They wanted her to, not shuffle. Oh my God, skip.
Oh.
They wanted her to skip out with all of them and start the show. And she's, according to meetings, she said absolutely not. She said, I don't want the gay people to think that this is their show.
Whoa.
Oh.
Within that realm, executives said we want the show to be for everybody.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah.
I get that. Okay, so now you are, here I am, a person of the community, and again, now I'm stuck in a position as if I was younger. Now I feel like that's injustice, right? Because I'm in the community and...
Well, she does touch on that in her in this.
Oh, does she?
Well, not the Queer Eye.
Does she hate them?
No, but about it not being a show just aimed for gays.
Oh, then she heard the stories, because the stories are true then. Because she would say, I don't want any bulldog lesbians. I don't want to see any mullets. I don't want to see any crew cuts.
Yeah.
Because for a while there, and maybe I've said this before, we literally would have audience members flashing her.
Oh, wow.
During commercial breaks. And I'm like, what? And of course, crowd is screaming. You don't see it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It's quick, it's fast. Also, too, people don't know, in the very beginning, she would sign stuff. So if you brought anything, she would sign it.
Yeah.
And that waned and kind of went away quickly because a lady showed up and said, this is poetry that I wrote for Ellen. She doesn't have to sign it. I want her to have it. And you're like, all right, whatever, we'll take it and we'll put it in our basket. People just sent her so much shit. It was ridiculous.
Oh, I'm sure.
Within that book of poetry was all sexual.
Oh.
Every single, and it was beautiful. Like it was handwritten like on parchment or like papyrus. It was beautiful. But it was, her hand touched my thigh. And it was all geared towards Ellen.
Yeah.
Here she comes.
Yeah.
She hears me talking about her.
Why do you think she was like that?
Like what?
Where she just didn't want to represent the gay community at all?
Well, going back to, I never thought I would defend her. Now seeing, though, that we're kind of trying to start this, and we're trying to figure out branding, and we're trying to figure out where we fit, right? She was also trying to figure out where she fit, whether it was community or in the general public, right? In fact, up until the day that she went off of the air, there were still a lot of people that didn't believe she was a lesbian or didn't even know.
Really?
I know, shocking, right?
That is shocking.
Because that wasn't the tone of the show. It was entertainment. It was fun. That wasn't supposed to be in the forefront, even though we knew.
So then we need to butch you the fuck up. Is that what you're saying?
Sure, you're right. You're probably right. I think the butcher I get, I think that I'm like, oh, that's why I got the mustache. Yeah, I'm going to get her
Which I'm
done.
getting used to.
Thank you. And so, she's pissed now.
Oh, yeah.
That's
She
Portia.
heard you.
She's like,
They're both coming.
Yeah, they probably
Angela,
have it
can you
tapped
fit
for
two
cover.
in the pad?
Yep, right for cover.
They're tapped into it.
They go in separate
Someone's
copters.
breaking the glass. Oh, it's Oprah's chef. So, you know, I never wanted to defend her, like I said, but I kind of get it now when you're building a brand and you're trying to make a name for yourself and you're trying to figure out. I think Be Kind just came about and it stuck because here was this person who was a light to some and a not so light to others. Yeah. Some people had amazing experiences and some people didn't. And what I understand now is, listen, I'm the same way. Some people have amazing experiences with me or they don't.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, am I Ellen? No. I think when you get to the point of becoming an actual celebrity, I think that, unfortunately, I think that's your job. You have a duty. You have to play to your audience. You have to kiss the babies and shake the hands. For the celebrities that act and go, oh, I'm so private. Oh, this is terrible. You chose this.
Yeah.
You chose this. It was a choice for you to star in a movie. Yes, the byproduct is it was an amazing movie. And guess what? Now you're a star.
Yeah.
Guess what? Now you have to go kiss the babies and shake the hands. It is what it is.
Do you feel any pressure sitting in that seat having to feel like you need to represent your community? or do you not think about it at all?
That's a good question.
We're talking Sherman Oaks.
I don't.
Here, maybe it's a better one. Do you want to? Because it is a lot of pressure, I assume.
I come from the mentality of you can be it, just don't say it. And that's the television, right? I grew up in a Catholic environment. I've kind of had that mentality since day one. Of course, obviously, when I open my mouth, all doubt is removed.
Well, it's like old Hollywood. It's like, well, we know they're gay, but we don't really talk about it.
Correct.
And they go to all the straight parties with girls on their arms, but behind the scenes, they're sleeping around with
And
it.
listen, I think by me admitting that I am a same-sex nature or in the community, I think that does close a few windows for brands. I think it closes a few windows for a lot of things. But I can't operate like that anymore. I think I have to operate from, I got to prove it to myself that I can do this and make this show great. Not by myself, but with, obviously everybody else. I'm in the support of my family, our family in general, anyone's family. There's so many families, there's so many people that are a part of families that support us.
Yeah.
So I don't want to let them down. So there's a lot of pressure because they want to see me succeed. They want to see us all succeed.
Yeah.
But I think the flip side to that is you're not going to deny who you are for the sake of having a show.
Correct. I mean, if someone asks me, I'm not going to be like, oh, no, I don't know what that man is. I don't,
So Ellen also talks about, and I'm not an Ellen promoter or anything by any means, because I felt like her last special really felt flat.
I haven't seen her in a long time.
Which one was that?
Gosh, I don't know. Louie, you're going to have to do your research.
I'll have to put it in there.
But but in this episode, she goes and she talks about, she goes, and apparently she still feels burnt how Hollywood did her the first time around about outing her and her being openly gay when she had her series Ellen, and
it destroyed the show.
Canceled after that.
Yeah.
So she was hesitant, and she says in this new Netflix show, she goes, like, I'm the only gay in Hollywood. There's nobody else gay in Hollywood. So there's a fine line that whether it's this show or that's her or Tom Cruise or whomever, I guess you do base whether or not how open you are on cancellation or whether people are going to accept you or not.
She sounds a little bitter still.
You do?
I think there would be. But she said the money helps. She goes, at this point, she said, the money helps soften that.
You do, and it does. So she's not wrong. Are there multiple people in the business that are in the community? Absolutely. Yeah. It doesn't mean that they're good. It just means that they're in the business, right?
Yep.
And there are people in the business that are very good that deny being in the community and vice versa.
Yeah.
It's such a razor thin edge to walk. Because you have to figure out where your loyalties are going to lie or lay. And that's a hard thing to gauge.
Yeah.
But what I can say is if your show is doing well and you're at the top of your game, I mean, that makes it even harder. Because, how do you reveal? And yes, she was outed because there was no secret. We knew she was a lesbian, right?
She was probably one of the first cancel culture persons without it being a thing because people did cancel her.
Yeah.
Did they cancel her, really? I just thought they outed her, but they didn't necessarily cancel her. It just kind of turned the whole general public off. And I remember as a kid, it was a big news cycle because I remember I used to watch that show with my family. We'd sit down. Yeah. That was a thing back in the day. You'd sit in front of the TV. You'd watch the show at 7 to whatnot. And I remember people were upset because they all felt like it was a lie. That's what I remember. Like, oh, well, she's pretending to be straight when, in fact, she's not. Because in that show, she slept with, like, so many dudes. And that was part of
the joke.
Yeah, the joke.
Yeah. That was part of the joke.
So...
I can't say what I would do until I come to that situation.
When you think about the money that rides on her career.
And she was making a lot of money. And she was also oh my God.
I think
she
for
was,
you, though,
she was also buying houses
and
flipping them, and she would move some of her belongings in. She never lived in the home. It was such a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
And once people found out that she potentially had lived there, my God, the value of the property went up.
Well, look at that. We have a realtor here. We got a guy who's trying to look at her making
I'm
moves.
like, I'm selling a shack on Devonshire.
We need that money.
But you know more than anybody, this is a cutthroat industry.
It is.
And their survival, and for her to accomplish what she's been able to accomplish, that's not an easy task.
No, and I think at the end of the day, for all of the soul that she's sold to the executives and for what she knew, she's still laughing at going to the bank.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's a lot
do I
of
really
money to
feel
be
bad
made.
for her?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I guess hypothetically, and you don't have to answer this, what do you want, I guess, out of it?
What do I want out of what in general?
Out of this show.
I want this show to be popular. I want to have fun. I want to have an audience one day. I want to be able to kind of, talk my shit unfiltered. I hope that I never come into a situation where, we have executives saying to us, well, you can't say that.
I hope we don't go that far.
Well,
I hope we always kind of stay
to.
in that kind of control.
It's like you turned me on to that show, Lessons in Chemistry.
Yes.
That, if you've never seen that, Lessons in Chemistry on Apple TV, I think is a very good representation of how gays get treated in the media. Although it is positioned around females and females' images in television and what they were thought of in the 1950s, right?
It's about the 50s,
the 50s. And the racism. I think that's a very good representation of how gays and females are treated on shows and in the media. And I could be wrong. Listen, I lived it. I worked it for over 20 years. That's a good, it's interesting because when you first turned me on to the Lessons in Chemistry, I was watching it and I had to stop. I didn't go back to continue watching it, and it's probably been a good 6 months, because I was filled again with all those memories of hearing, no black people in the front row, only white people around Tyra, only this. And, you think that that's normal because you're doing it for television, right? And
it's part of the job, right?
Yeah, that's part of the job.
Yeah.
Only pretty people, no ugly people. Everyone's ugly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, we don't want those girls sitting there. Move this person. Move that person.
Yeah.
You're going to get fired, right? We need this now. We need this yesterday. We need this.
And that was just a host.
And no. I will say this, Tyra did ask me. She said, Danny, why do you never put black people around me?
Oh.
And I looked at her and I went, you don't know? And she looked at me and she said, just by your response, you don't have to say anything else. And I was like, but Tyra, I thought you knew. And she goes, like that. She looked at to me. So then I knew what was I started to learn. Listen, I didn't know. I have a heart of gold if you're on the right side, right?
Yeah.
I will do anything for anybody. Yeah. I can be accused of so many things, of being an asshole, being this, but you know what? I would still do anything for anybody if they needed it, truth be told.
Yeah. I'm glad she didn't think you were making those choices, because she could have looked at you and been like, that's your choice. But, she kind of had been in the business of understanding that that's not your call.
And I kind of had a friendly relationship with her where she would know and be like, I could tell her, and she covered her mic. It was right before the show started, and she covered her mic. And she asked me, and this was backstage right before she walked out, because I was always right back, and I was the only one in that area and a stage manager, because they would, cue her to go out and up, and the show would start. And that was a really interesting day for me, because I thought to myself, did I say the wrong thing? Was I supposed to tell her? What was I supposed to tell her?
She didn't get that memo.
She did, and that's the best part. I was true. I was true until the very end. you know? And, you know, was I true at the talk? It changed a little bit, you know? I probably became truer to myself. I kind of became that, like, executive demon.
But I think you had to adapt, right?
I
So
did.
at Tyra, you didn't have to adapt as much, probably because you were still new, but also the environment was different. It felt more family to
Well,
you.
I wouldn't say I think Tyra was an absolute family, 1,000,000%. There are some people that didn't feel that way, Karen, and look, Karen's attacking me, and I get that now. Now that I've worked at the talk, I get that now.
You saw the other side.
I saw the other side.
Do you think that was easier to develop that family atmosphere with Tyra being the single host versus 5 women on a stage, and then it becomes more expanded and it's harder to have that connection or family vibe?
Well, I would love to answer that question, but what we have to come back. So we have a lot more to talk about.
Okay.
So I hope
loving
you've
this.
enjoyed this, but we have more. Apparently the mosquitoes in Montecito are enjoying this episode too. So we will be back in the next couple of weeks in regards to this subject, because I promised we were going to begin to continue, and now we've opened up Pandora's box. Sorry, Angelina. And now it's time. So buckle up your seats, kids, or seatbelts, because it's going to get bumpy. I'm sure now your mind is in a frenzy because there's so many questions that you potentially may have. Ask them down below. Like, follow, subscribe. I will answer to the best of my knowledge and my capability. We have more shows coming up just like this one. Sorry, I hate to bait you. And with that being said, I hope that you have a wonderful week, a wonderful day, a wonderful month. And thank you for all the love that you've given me. And that goes out to friends and family. Thank you all. And remember to always do it like me, Danny.